Hello and welcome to I'm going to call this, it's sort of like an afternoon special really for us. It's a very special Ladies Who Question. I'm Lisë and
I'm Holli.
Holli. And we have as I said, a special guest, and that guest is Holli's husband, Tom. Ooh.
Hello.
And thank you, Tom. Tom is here in a very special capacity as well. We've been talking to a few different people about their organizations in the company or their head of the company or something like that. And now Tom is going to come to this discussion as a volunteer for many different projects. So welcome, Tom. We are happy to have you here.
Thank you.
So Tom is here to talk about volunteering for Meals on Wheels. So Tom, why don't you take it away and tell us about how you started getting involved with Meals on Wheels and what you do when you're volunteering for them.
I got into it. A friend of mine is doing this over in Salt Lake City and in Park City, I guess I would say. And he's been doing it for about 2 years.
Park City, Illinois.
Park City, Utah.
Oh, Park City, Utah.
Yes.
Okay. Oh.
And he said you should look into it. It's very gratifying. He does it once a week, has a route, and so I looked into it here, and I went through an interview process and got vetted, and so I've been doing it since January of this year. Mm-hmm. I have my regular route. I cover about eight to 10 stops on every Thursday, and usually I would say probably about maybe once or twice a month they ask me to cover an extra route on an extra day, or sometimes that same Thursday they might say, would you mind picking up a couple extra stops, you know?
New people that are added. Yeah.
Or a driver can't do it.
Oh,
so
okay.
usually I have 8 to 10 stops. It takes me about just under 2 hours to do it. I cover basically Highland Park up to North Chicago.
Okay, in Illinois.
Illinois. Yeah. So I cover, and I just, Highland Park, Lake Forest, Lake Bluff in North Chicago. And that's where my stops are. And you get a variety of people. Some people can't get out of bed, can't get up. Some people can get up, they're fine. Some people are very elderly. Some people are not elderly at all, but they've been immobilized by an injury, so they've been short-term disability where they can't cook for themselves. So sometimes you only have people for maybe 8 weeks where they get recovered, and you don't see them anymore. So it's but some of the people you really get to know them and a personal relationship with them.
Sure.
There are a few people that I've got really close to. I mean, that you come in, their caregiver's not there today, So I sit there and I warm their food up for them. I sit there and talk to them and get to know some about these people, where their life was, what they've done, what they did, where they worked, and it's very, very fulfilling. It really for those 2 hours on my Thursdays, I feel very fulfilled, and it's very spiritual.
Oh, I would imagine. I mean, going into their home
Yeah.
and feeding not hand feeding, maybe in
Right.
some cases, but bringing someone a meal and being in their home and preparing it for them, that's kind of an intimate sort of thing, or it can be.
And then on some of the things here we have, then they decide what meals you give them you show them the pictures, what they pick out, what they want the next week.
Oh, okay.
So they choose their meals for the following week, and then you enter it right in your there's a program in your phone. You enter the meals for the next week. So they choose what they want the following week, and it's interesting because 9 times out of 10. You don't have to show them the sheet at all. You already know what they're going to pick.
Yeah.
You're going to take the chicken, aren't you? Yeah, I'm going to take the chicken. You need to read 6 things off. You want the chicken? Yeah, I want the chicken. So I mean,
Right.
it's that way. It's kind of funny.
Oh, because you get to know their preferences.
Yeah, you get to know their preferences.
And they have
so
probably some dietary restrictions too, and things like that.
The dietary restriction ones, those are already in their system, so that they wouldn't in the program there. You wouldn't read them a meal anyhow. Mm-hmm. So those people already have stuff already that you would not even give them a meal anyhow. Even if they picked one out, when it goes to all the meals get done down in Niles, they have a big kitchen down in Niles. they would, if they did a chicken, they would know how to make it dietary-ish.
Oh, right.
Like I had one down in Highland Park where the lady was blind. All their food was pureed.
Oh.
So you never choose their meals. Their meals are always chosen for them.
Because she's blind.
She was blind.
She had had nothing to do with her infirmity as far as being blind. It just had to do with.
I never.
Yeah, it's
I
not
never
your-
even saw a lady.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Got
So
it. Yeah.
and there's some of the things we have to choose out. We have to choose any condition changed. Oh. So there's one time I had to check out. Hey, this house has not been cleaned for like months. There's like very feces, dirty diapers. I mean, purses have been changed. So
you make notes of things
you have,
like
you
that.
have to report that though, so they could get like there hasn't been a caretaker in there for a while. So they.
Get other assistance.
Like maybe social services will go in.
Absolutely, they get
oh,
social
I didn't
services.
know about
Yeah.
that part.
That's kind of a nice checkup.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't even think about
Right.
that.
Especially if they don't have any family members. Most of these people don't have
Some
family
people
members.
do. There's, and I've had some where there's a lady down in Highland Park where I deliver to, and the son's been there sometimes. He's like, "Oh, thank you so much. This means so much to me," and because he goes, I live in the area, but I'm still working. My mom's, she's very, she's kind of capable. She doesn't drive anymore, but she'll take an Uber around, and she'll go to the doctor by Uber, but she still walks everything fine. But she could tell she's losing a little bit mentally, But he's like so grateful, and it's just like thank you so much, and but it's just very gratifying.
To walk us through a day, like you start your day. You go to the facility. Tell me how that works.
We pick up in Highland Park at the Subaru dealership in Highland Park, right in off of where's that? Right across
41.
41, Fred 41 across from Target there.
You pick up all the meals that are already prepared and everything.
Already prepared right there.
Okay.
They're in coolers.
And your route sheet or
and route sheet's on your phone.
Oh, okay.
So and at 10:30 in the morning.
You pick everything up.
Yes.
Okay. Now how does that get there? Who brings?
They have a driver who delivers it there.
Okay, and
there's about 10 different distribution states. There's CLC they deliver to get out further, up north further, and out west further to. Mm-hmm. People have to go further out west. And then there's a distribution point in Niles where the headquarters is there. And there's one further south, I want to say somewhere down by Oak Brook, somewhere down that way. They bring stuff down that way.
Okay, so there are two headquarters then in the Chicagoland area then.
Yeah, there's another one because this is the northern Illinois.
Right.
So then there's one down
southwest suburbs
too. Yeah.
So are you saying there's 7 distribution centers in Lake County?
No, not distribution centers, but where we
pick up points.
Pick up points are
in Lake County.
Maybe not 7, but there's maybe.
But I could see there being 7.
I mean, I'm not sure there's 7.
Okay.
There's
enough.
There's enough.
Right.
So, but not all these meals. Some people pay for the meals the people pay for.
They do?
Oh, I thought these were free.
No, they could be free.
Depending upon their circumstances?
Circumstances, yeah. Okay. So they could be, I think they're $10. Okay. So what I've researched so far, $10. But then I think 85% of the people that receive the meals are getting some type of assistance.
Oh, I would imagine, yeah.
So,
food stamps or whatever they call it now.
Some probably free. Some could be, maybe if it's $10, maybe you're only getting paid, maybe you're only getting charged $3 a meal. But you figure if you have a parent, you don't live close by, hey, my mom's getting something there if it's going to cost me $6 a day, something like that, or $3 a day to give her a meal, or something like that, it's not the end of the world.
Right. So you pick them up and you begin your route, and you have approximately how many stops again? I
would say anywhere 8 to 10.
Oh, you have to really hustle if you're saying this only takes you 2 hours.
Yeah.
But you don't really have to hustle, because when I went on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
You accompanied him to okay.
Yeah. I wanted to do a ride along.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was we had less stops that day,
right,
too.
because some people were out with their families, or it was an eye-opener, and I was very thankful that day.
What surprised you the most, Holly?
Well, interesting. It's interesting because I did a little bit of research on Meals on Wheels, and it says one of their little captions or taglines is "Solution to Senior Hunger and Isolation." Now, most all these people are alone. The diversity and the severities of some of the homebound seniors that were in the hospital beds in their living room, or
That would be upsetting and probably a little shocking for the first time, I would imagine.
it was. And then we went to a person's house it's an elderly person whose son was mentally challenged, and he's got to be about 60 years old. So that's who's taking care of his mother, and he was pretty with it. But
wow.
it was sad.
Yeah.
We went to some housing, what do you call it?
Public housing.
Public housing complexes
I didn't know there was public housing in Lake County.
in North
yeah,
Chicago.
North Chicago.
Oh, you went to Chicago.
North Chicago.
North
Yeah.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I'm.
And I've actually probably have never been in one of those buildings before, and that was sad too. So it was sad, but it was heartwarming because everybody was so appreciative. The two brothers that live in North Chicago and they share an apartment. They're vets.
Yeah.
And they were so appreciative, and you knew all the people too. That's what was it was fun to see how they know you, and then you're like, I brought my wife along, and they're like, oh, bring her in.
Oh.
I try when I'm out there not to just say, here's your food, goodbye. I try to always
Yeah.
address them by the first name, how
Respectfully.
you doing?
Yeah.
It's a nice day out today, you see the weather, but if it's a gentleman, you see the Bears game, you try to engage them in somewhat,
Right.
I mean,
Maybe the only engagement they have with somebody else
right. There's
all day.
They're isolated.
They're isolated.
Yeah.
Some of the elderly ones that I do see, I might be the only person they see all day.
Do they get meals every day?
Some do. Okay. Some get 3 days a week. It's all. When I get the program, like I could look in that, see what day, but I don't really go in that depth. It's just not really my business.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
It's that's their. They have some right to privacy too.
Of course. It's I mean, they deserve to be treated with respect,
Yeah.
and for the person delivering the food to be cordial at the
Yeah.
very least. I mean, it sounds like you go a little bit of the extra mile, and you try to be very kind, which I'll bet they appreciate.
Some of that. I mean, I've had the one lady ask me, and one lady asked me, "Hey, could you?" There's been a note on the door. Can you just bring the food in that I brought in? Here it is, and she can't get up, she goes, hey, she's slouched in her chair, sliding down.
Oh.
Can you help me get up? So you're scared, you don't want to hurt somebody,
Right.
So I go like, well, let me get in front of you here, and I'll lift. Is this better? No, not really. So I helped her up again, and I got her up, and then she goes, well, I haven't any water for a couple hours, so.
Oh, golly.
I go, where's your water? Well, look, can you go look in the garage? So I went and I couldn't, there was no water in the garage, no bottled water. So finally I found a couple of empty water bottles in the kitchen, so I filled them up with regular tap water, and I found the straws. I got her two straws and water there, and she goes, I can't get the TV to work right. I got the TV to work right.
Oh, my gosh.
So
You're a handyman, too.
Right.
So,
She's probably so happy though.
and the phone wasn't working. The phone was ringing, but she couldn't reach it,
Oh,
So I mean,
my gosh. This poor woman.
Oh.
it's,
Well, lucky her, though. She had you on the case.
Yeah, I've just it's all little things,
Yeah.
that like one time, one lady there at Highland Park said, "Oh, I got these flowers and they're really nice, but they're all dead now and I can't lift them up now. Would you mind throwing them away?" So I mean,
Little things
Yeah.
that really.
little things,
they become.
you just take it for granted,
Yeah.
And this one little lady, the funniest name, Penelope. I mean, where's the name? You ever hear a name like that?
Well, it's an old-fashioned name.
Yeah, and she had a beautiful. This vase was had to be like this tall.
Okay, that's about 3 feet tall.
Yeah, maybe about 2 feet tall.
2
with a big vase, and so I got this big arrangement. I threw out the flowers. They had to be dead for like 2 weeks.
Oh, they probably smelled.
Yeah, they
Ugh.
smelled.
Yeah, that
so.
water. Blech. Sorry, that just you know me, sensory overload when it comes to that. Oh my gosh.
But
well, you are probably their little angel.
But I also like that you are supposed to take notes on changes.
Yeah, that
Because I
hadn't
didn't
even
know
thought
about that.
Yeah,
And that could maybe save somebody or I mean, at least get them help immediately. If, like you said, the place hasn't been cleaned or whatever.
And that gets passed on to then the people at Meals on Wheels, and they notify other authorities, hopefully, to get them assistance. Okay, and then you just wait till next Thursday. Okay, it's not that complicated. This is an easy not easy, but because actually all the things that you do, that doesn't sound easy at all. But that's an uncomplicated volunteer effort.
And not very much time.
And how helpful is that?
It gets complicated when they ask you, hey, would you mind doing the route out in going west of Gurnee, like Fox Lake?
Oh, so when they change your route.
No. We have a route. We have someone called in sick today. Can you do this route for us?
When you're covering for someone.
Yeah, you don't know the people at all, so it's just a lot different.
Well, it's like your first day when you started.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and you have to think in the back of your head, these people need these meals.
Yeah, so that's motivating.
Right.
Now, you've been a volunteer in other capacities in other organizations. What are some of those?
Well, I was on a charity board for almost 8 years. This is probably close to 20 years ago, though.
Oh, well, no, I'm just asking in general.
It was kids in need. It's through my past
employer.
No, it's my past career. It's basically
this is a charity your former employer was aligned with.
No.
No.
Past organization.
Past organization.
Yes,
okay, all right.
That I was in line with, and basically it would give out. We had resource centers, or you'd call them schoolhouses throughout the United States. It actually started here in Chicago, basically. And they would actually give free school supplies to teachers.
Oh, good, because a lot of times the teachers bear the brunt of extra expenses for the kids. I've read about that a lot.
The teachers, they would have to make sure the teachers were at the schools would have to qualify for that. Like 90% of the kids were getting the free lunch and the free breakfast. So they were at that
poverty level.
The poverty level.
Yeah.
They were at that poverty level getting that. So the teachers would go in these schoolhouses and get the shop for free.
Oh, got it.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But when you see these kids coming in and get their free backpacks and never had one before.
And they're probably thrilled.
Thrilled.
Boy, that's an eye-opener, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so that sounds like a worthwhile organization for sure.
It was challenging.
I know that you are involved in some capacity, I'm not sure, with Beef for Hunger. And I'm sure that Holly told you we recently interviewed Greg Barnum, who is the
Good friend of
founder.
mine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, what is it that you do with Beef for Hunger or have done or...
I was helping them out in the past. I'm really not doing anything now with Beef for Hunger.
But what were you doing?
More in terms of just I would say more of a liaison type on a leadership role, helping him.
I don't know what that means.
I basically just helping him, give him direction on when he was first starting out.
Oh, okay.
Basically.
So he was pulling from your knowledge of different, like how to organize or.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Greg was just that was.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah, I really enjoyed our talk with him. Oh, Rib Fest.
Yep.
So how did that? I was
right.
I was out of town
That's
this
the
year for
tie-in.
that. Yeah, that's the tie-in. So how did explain to me just even for this audience listening to this particular podcast, how does that work with Rib Fest, which is held every October in Lake Bluff, Illinois? They donate proceeds, if I understand it correctly, for one of the categories to Beef for Hunger.
It's a
correct?
People's Choice Award.
Oh, okay,
So,
that was it. People's Choice Award. Yeah.
So the people can all vote. Mm-hmm. It's $1 a vote. People can all vote, and all those proceeds go 100% to Beef for Hunger.
Okay. And Rib Fest is a very well-attended event.
Yes.
In Lake Bluff. Yeah, that's been around. I remember the first Rib Fest. It was so sparse. There were like 3 little booths.
How many
was
years?
that you?
Oh, yeah. I think we had 13 people the first year. 13 teams.
Was it there even that many?
Yeah.
I don't even, because I was thinking only a few, but
It's
wow.
Been 20. It's 23 years old.
23, yeah.
Didn't that seem like it kind of just started? But
Yeah.
now it's been 23 years.
Yeah. I mean, 13. And how many were there this year? How many booths? Do you know?
20.
20.
22 is the most we've ever had.
Yeah, I mean, it would almost be a fire hazard at that point. I think, you know, I really, it's like, oh, how many more cookers and grills and that can be fit. So, what's the best thing that you've gleaned from all of your activity? Well, I mean, you said gratifying, fulfilling, and
I think growing up as a kid, my parents were very involved in the church. They always gave back a lot to the community, and I think I just kind of following in their footsteps and, you know, looking at what they have always were very involved in giving back.
learning
to the
by
church.
example.
Learning by example.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think I think it's very important. It's not very hard. It sounds like a lot you have to do something, but it's amazing for what you get out of it spiritually and mentally. It's very rewarding.
Now because you're involved doing different things
Not
too.
really.
Not as much.
Not
Well,
as
not
much.
nearly.
I will in my later
In your
years.
dotage.
Yes, yes.
Anything else that you would like to spotlight?
Tom, is there information on how people can get involved with Meals on Wheels?
They could go to the website. And
Okay.
Is it mealsonwheels.org or what?
mealsonwheels.org, I believe it is. And you could just punch in a zip code of where you're at and find out how to volunteer. And there's volunteering, whether they want to volunteer at the kitchen, whether they want to volunteer to be to deliver meal.
Oh,
deliver
right.
Meals.
Those are that. Yeah. What are the other? Yeah. Okay. So be in the kitchen.
You could be a driver. You could be I can't remember anything else, but I mean,
Probably a coordinator of
The routes.
administrative, because there's a lot to
there's a lot of different things to
sift
do.
through.
Yes. But the kitchen is too. There's a lot of kitchen help too. It's a big kitchen down there in Niles.
Oh, in Niles. That's right.
Yeah.
So so if you're in this part of the Chicago area or down in Oak Brook, as you said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's probably a huge need for that.
Yeah.
I don't have any more questions. I
I don't either. I think that we focused on charities this month and volunteering and local. Everything we talked about was local and
well,
like
Meals on Wheels can go
national.
national.
Yes.
It is national.
It is national.
Yeah. Okay, so if you want to volunteer for Meals on Wheels, I believe it's mealsonwheels.org. I think Tom gave you the lowdown.
Or if you know somebody that might be a candidate to receive a Meals on Wheels,
Good point.
know somebody in your neighborhood, family member, you can go through them as well to apply for meals.
I hope we're not missing anything because we're going to lose Tom and then we'll never get him back in here up in our lair, our studio lair.
studio.
He'll be like, I'm not going over there again.
I'll leave you this. This is frequent asked questions in case you get any questions. That's just pictures of the meals.
Pictures the meals.
So
Getting hungry?
No, most of the stuff on here I couldn't eat anyway. But I'm happy that someone's getting them. All right. Thank you, Tom, for your time.
thank you. I think the big thing is just, hey, get out there and volunteer, whether it's for a day, a week or something.
Even one time.
Yeah.
For whatever. There are so many different ways to lend a hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Tom just demonstrated that to us. Okay. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you, Tom Caulfield, for coming in. And
Thank you for coming in too, Tom.
get out there and volunteer. Ladies Who Question, signing out.
Signing out and happy holidays.
Happy holidays, yes. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Harvey.
Ladies Who Question is executive produced and edited by Lisë, Dominique, and Holli Caulfield. Music, My Lionheart and Sketch Music, Florian Monax and Matthew Anderson. Font, Geofanny by Adriana619. Research, Holli Caulfield. Social media, Chelsea Caulfield. Please follow Ladies Who Question on all social media, ladieswhoquestion.com. And subscribe and follow us wherever you get your podcasts. This is a HarveyDoodle production.
All content discussed on Ladies Who Question are the individual opinions of Lisë, Dominique, and Holli Caulfield and should not be construed as personal advice of any kind. By listening to this podcast, you agree to not use this podcast as any advice for any personal or medical issue of yourself or others. This entire disclaimer also applies to any guests or contributors to the podcast.